Yeah, what's going on, guys? It's been a while since I've uploaded on this channel, and I was honestly just looking for what I wanted to talk about, but I haven't felt the passion to talk about really anything lately. And I guess I did some soul searching, and I guess I do know what to do now. Yeah, so I'm gonna start this off with something that has been bothering me lately, and it's the state of our nation. I feel that we are headed down a path that we will not recover from unless we do something about it now. And what the issue is that we are not united as a people. I think that is the existential crisis that the American people are facing. You know, if you look back, not even 100 years ago, our country was so much more fortified in its culture, in its ethics, in its morality, in the way we operated in our daily lives. We were definitely more American than we are now. And what does it mean to be American? If you ask me, I would tell you that it means to stand for the truth, to stand for the moral righteousness of others. It's to stand for what's right and be against what is wrong. On top of all of that, it's to stand up for the inalienable freedoms that we are provided as being humans. That is what it means to be an American. But lately, we have switched our perceptions into something else. We view being American as something that comes from our diversity, and that our diversity is our strength, and that is why we are so great. That is why our country is one of the superpowers of the world, and that's because of our diversity and our difference in cultures. No, that is utterly wrong. That is bastardization of American culture, and it is a bastardization of what America was founded upon. Now, if you ask some of these people what America was founded upon, they are going to tell you that America was founded on racism, on slavery, on xenophobia, on killing innocent people across the world. Can't be farther from the truth. I mean, yes, of course, Americans did do terrible things, but that is not what America was founded upon. Because if you look in our history, we fixed all of those problems. And of course, we're not perfect, but we made an effort to fix those issues because of what America was founded upon. Our country was built to be the beacon of freedom, the beacon of change and prosperity. It was built to be a nation that can be modular, a nation that can change over time, a nation that is allowed the freedom to make a mistake in order to fix it. That is what America was founded upon. It was founded upon the ability to make mistakes as a human, an ability to correct those mistakes. Other nations around the world would make a mistake, but then their governments would not be able to correct it because they were authoritarian dictatorships. If they made a mistake, well, you had to live with it. You couldn't change it, you couldn't petition it, you couldn't protest it. And why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because being American means those things, and we have forgotten that. Now we focus on our diversity as a symbol of being an American. And if we allow this to continue, then America will end up becoming worse than it is now. Right now, what we are seeing in America is already a sign of what is to come. Our people are divided into tribes. We have blacks, whites, we have Asians minding their own business. We have people from other ethnicities. We have Muslims building their own communities. We have these tribal communities now that are divided through harsh lines, and there's like a race war going on between all of them. There are a group of people that are trying to fix it. We have the conservatives who are trying to unify America under one singular ideal. Conservatives are trying to fix this issue, but the left, the Democrats, are perpetuating a race war by hijacking the trauma of colored individuals and people of different ethnic origin in order to perpetuate this myth that they are oppressed and that their identities are incredibly important and they need to be preserved in a way where we are divided between one another and we are protecting ourselves from one another that ends up leading us to becoming segregated. This kind of fear-mongering is the exact reason why we are like this in this country. The Democrats have stripped away our American identity in order to divide us, in order to farm us, in order to make us obedient and subservient to their ideals, in order to, as I said, hijack our trauma from our past and pit us against each other. There is this quote I want to share with you. It's from The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon, and the quote goes, "Colonialism is not satisfied merely with holding a people in its grip and emptying the natives' brains of all form and content. By a kind of perverted logic, it instead turns to the past of the oppressed people and distorts, disfigures, and destroys it." This is what is happening. Our identity is being distorted and destroyed. Our American identity is being thrown away in order to give us separate identities so that we can then be controlled. We can then be divided. We can then be used. And then we can be abused, used, whatever word you want to use. No bar, no cap. But it's exactly what's happening. The Democrats are literally using us like this. It is disgusting that they are dividing us as a nation in order to gain sympathy and votes. They're dividing us as a nation just so they can stay in power. They can utilize our emotions and tell us that there is something systemically wrong with this country and that we need to be in power in order to help you, save you from the white man. It is atrociously disgusting. They have been doing this from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and still doing it. And the country now they're waking up. They are fighting back. And it's exactly why Donald Trump got elected. And it is exactly going to be the reason why the Democrats are going to lose again in the next election cycle. And this is going to keep happening. New York City is turning red as I speak. If you look at the election results, New York City this is the most red it has been in the last, I don't know, 60 years? That's insane. Diversity is not our strength, it is our unity. Diversity is, of course, one of the most exceptional parts of our nation, is that through our diversity we can achieve unity. Why do we say that? Why do we say diversity is one of our exceptional ideals? And that is simply because we are an exception. We are one of the only countries in the world that has managed to stay a superpower, to stay prosperous, to stay on top, even with vast amounts of diversity. If you look at other countries that are more prosperous than us. They're not more prosperous by a long shot, but they're definitely within reach. These nations are all homogenous. They're all made up of one singular people, of one ethnic group. And the reason why is because homogenous nations tend to be more successful than nations with multiple cultures. And why that is so surprising for America is because we have managed to stay consistently prosperous, even with the vast amount of cultures that we have. That is why we keep mentioning that diversity is our strength, but it has been diluted and twisted by Democrats on the left, when in reality, diversity is one of our exceptional abilities, because we can still stay united, even despite having so many differences in languages, in cultures, in traditions, and ideals. We can still stay united through our identity as Americans. That is our strength, that our unity is there despite our diversity. Unity is our strength, not our diversity. This continues, and our America will fall apart from within. This has happened to nations in the past, and empires in the past, empires that have grown so big that they're unable to continue a homogeneous identity. They split because of warring factions within them. Almost all empires have fallen this way. America's not an empire, but we will eventually become a country with tribal warfare, not with spears and guns, but through words and eventually violence. I think people have to stop saying that diversity is our strength. It made sense after the Second World War and after we had mass immigration into this country because of how prosperous and successful we were. It made sense that diversity was an okay thing because we were still successful. We were still industrializing. We were still on top of trade. We were still mass exporters. We were still doing great things in the world. But as the 21st century encroached upon us, it soon became evident that our difference in culture is beginning to clash because we have championed this delusional idea and this hoax that diversity is our strength, that it has now bit us in the ass. We have allowed it to go on for so long that now it is having repercussions. At first it was fine because we couldn't see what it was going to end up like in the future, because at that time we were successful. We had immigrants, we were doing great. Immigrants were assimilating really well, but we had no foresight, and we still carry this idea that diversity is our strength, even though it is very clearly having repercussions. And because of this, there is now a extreme response from the right. Now we have the far right that is opposed to immigration, that is opposed to different ethnicities and cultures and religions in America because of what's happening. It's not that they're against illegal immigration, they're also against legal immigration. They literally just want to close the border entirely. I wouldn't say I'm far right, I'm definitely more in the middle, but I'm slightly more conservative leaning. I would say that, of course, we have to curb illegal immigration, but for legal immigration, we have to make sure that the people that come into this country assimilate properly. We have to make sure that the people that come into this nation are taught the American ideals, that are taught how to live as Americans, they're taught how we live as Americans, and in general, we just need to fix our culture of every American, not just people of color, everybody. White people, Asian people, like, we all need to learn how to live together as Americans and how to identify as Americans. No more of this Chinese American, Black American, White American. We're all American. We shouldn't be adding anything before that. We should just be Americans. That is how it was for a long time, and I don't like the fact that it has made it into our everyday language. It used to be government papers, and now it's part of our everyday language. I genuinely do not like that, and there is one person that wants to fix this, and his name is Vivek Ramaswamy, an American-born businessman. His name is very Indian sounding because ethnically he is Indian, but he is a true-hearted American, and he has lived the American dream. And in his own words, he believes that Americans need to unify an identity, and the way we do that is by reinvigorating American ideals into our education system. And one of the ways he's proposing that is by raising the voting age. The reason why is because many young people are easily swayed. They're very easily manipulated into voting for one side or the other. Not just the left, but the right as well. So in order to prevent that from happening, he is proposing the idea to raise the voting age. I think he believes somewhere between 21 to 25 years old. I personally think it should be 23, but the idea is that the students will go to school, upper education, go through college, and once they've made it into the real world and they've started working, then they might have a better understanding of what an average American goes through, because these kids are 18 years old, they've never had a job, most of them have never had a job, they have never faced much hardship, dependent on their parents, probably never paid any taxes, and they're voting, and they're also being brainwashed, and they're being used by politicians for easy votes through social media and campaigning and whatnot. So it is a very big problem because the left, the Democrats, heavily rely on individuals between 18 years old and 21 years old for their votes because they do extreme guerrilla marketing or campaigning on college campuses and outside of high schools. So that is extremely disturbing. It is also proposed that people that have entered the military under that age should be allowed to vote, because if you remember, after the Vietnam War, the voting age was lowered to 18 years old because of how many underage soldiers there were being drafted into the military, but they didn't have the right to vote. So the voting age was lowered to 18. So in order to somehow meet in the middle, what he proposes is that he's going to lower the voting age to 18 only for military conscripts. So that way people that serve this nation can at least reap the benefits of doing that. All in all, I think that incorporating raising voting age and also rewarding people that serve this nation with extra benefits, like the right to vote at an earlier age, will reinvigorate the passion of being an American, because these people will then serve. They will learn to respect the Constitution. They will learn to respect their rights. They will learn to respect everything of what it means to be an American. I think this is a great idea. And I think ideas like this are what we need in order to progress as Americans. I think Vivek Ramaswamy is a great candidate for the next presidency. And honestly, I really hope he runs again, because it's very likely that he's going to become governor of Ohio. And if that happens, I'm not sure if he will run for president, but I really, really hope he does, because the things he says are honestly very eye-opening. And I really think we need somebody in the seat in the Oval Office that will focus on the domestic issues at hand, because we have a serious cultural problem that is not being addressed, not even by President Donald Trump. He is not even addressing this huge cultural problem we have. We need to unite as Americans and believe that to be American is not being white. It's not being a redneck hillbilly. Being American is all of us. We just have to accept the fact that we are more American than we are anything else. We are more American than we are black. We are more American than we are white. It is honestly saddening that people put other countries' names before being an American, like being Mexican American, being Dominican American, being Haitian American. I don't understand why you would do that, right? Like, it makes no sense. Why can't we just be American? Why do we have to be white American? Why do we have to put these names ahead of our actual identity? It is exactly why this country is going to fall. And I've gotten sick of seeing this. And I just felt like I had to put this out there somehow, because I don't like making scripted videos. I just like talking out of my ass. And yeah, that's what I'm doing here. And yeah, God bless America. And Elon Musk. Yeah, I already know. Send me to fucking Mars.
Pussy nigga, I want all the smoke. Yeah, hey, pussy nigga, I want all the smoke. Get that bitch wet in Minnesota like I'm Little Boat. Pussy nigga, I want all the smoke.
We on the block 2 for 4. Nigga, come and get some